Hello, world. Welcome to Rex Arthur TV. This is a Rex Arthur show, the LGBTQ channel that discusses LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ perspective. And today we are discussing the levels of LGBTQ sexology. Now, what do you mean by levels of LGBTQ sexology? This is the different sexual lifestyles in the LGBTQ LGBTQIAAP world. Now, why we insist on saying LGBTQ I mean IAAP is because we have made the discovery that that is the spelling of the world. The world is actually, if you define the world sexually, it is LGBTQIAAP. Everyone in the world belongs to P. Everyone in the world belongs to each letter. You're either lesbian, you're either gay, you're either bisexual, you're either transgender, you're either queer, you're either questioning, you're either intersex, you are either an asexual, you're either ally, you're either pansexual. Everybody in the world. The only people who may not be in that cluster are homophobes, especially straight people, not necessarily gay people who are homophobic, but straight people who are homophobic. Because the straight people who are homophobic are to be, they are to become allies. So they're to take the A in the double A. So they take the A. And what is to take the A? Is to be an ally, to support, to tolerate LGBTQ persons, to say you stand with them, to say you could be a heterosexual, but you support LGBTQ persons. That is what needs to happen to the straight people in the world to become part of that cluster. Now, since there are already straight people who are allies, it's a fact. The rest of the straight people in the world, even if there are many and they are not allies, when they get to understand LGBTQ issues, they will become allies and the world will be complete. So everybody else is already inside the if you're a lesbian, you're in the world. You are now enjoying cosmos. And if you're gay, you are enjoying cosmos. And if you're bisexual, you are enjoying cosmos. If you're transgender, you are enjoying cosmos. If you are intersex, you are enjoying cosmos. If you're queer, you are enjoying cosmos. If you are questioning, you are enjoying cosmos. If you are asexual, you are also enjoying cosmos. If you are an ally, you are enjoying cosmos. And if you are pansexual, you are enjoying cosmos. Now, what is to enjoy cosmos? It is to enjoy time. And what's to enjoy time? It's to live life. Yes, it's to live life. And if you are straight and homophobic, you're not living life. You're hating on people because of their sexuality. And that's not allowed. It's not fruitful. You won't live a fruitful life if all you do is hating people because of their sexuality. All you do is attack people because of their sexuality. So that's where we are right now. And I've taken a different approach. I don't attack homophobes violently these days. Not, of course, I've never done it violently. What I mean by violently, very vigorous, aggressive dealing with homophobes. Why? Because I've understood homophobes are psychological beings, just like LGBTQ persons. So what do you do with an what you do with an LGBTQ person, you should do to a homophobe. Like now what we have is, I'm very happy there's a new LGBTQ affirmative therapy. This is therapy that is countering conversion therapy, and it's therapy to help gay people. The reason why there's conversion therapy is, a conversion therapist is a person who doesn't want somebody, a gay person, an LGBTQ person, to accept their sexuality. They want them to change it, and it's impossible to change it. So what happens is called distraction. Distraction means you will you will still be gay, but psychologically they have finished you, because they feed you with a lot of drivel that you're not gay, you're not gay, you are not born like this. So they feed it to you, and if they win that psychological war, psychologically you're finished, but you're still gay, because being gay is not psychological. It's not only psychological, it's physiological. It is in the balls. If you're a man, it's in your blood, it's in your hormones. So basically, if you really want to convert somebody from being gay, you have to do a lot of changing of the person. Even gene therapy, complete gene therapy, like gene editing, what is happening right now. But it's a very expensive process, and it's not worth it. You just accept who you are. And that's what's happening in the straight homophobes are using that conversion therapy. So, but as the LGBTQ people, as we are always ahead of time, and also we can solve problems, now as they've brought up the LGBTQ affirmative therapy. And this is what's happening in very many, it's a new trend that's in psychology and in very many LGBTQ organizations, and it's very helpful, and I am now endorsing it. I've been endorsing it from last week after reading about it, and it's the best way to go to help gay people who are struggling with their sexuality. Because when you are gay, you are surrounded by a majority homophobic society, whether you're in the West or in Africa. Because in the West, gay people, LGBT people are not 90% of the population. Average percentage of the LGBT population in the world is 10%. And in some countries, maybe less than 20%, 15%. So they are a minority. So what does this mean? Even if you give, the majority will always be crushing the minority. And this time, that's why I am a supporter of diverse democracy and diverse economy. Politics that values identity, diverse identity rather than numbers. Because if you play the numbers game of democracy, the majority will always win. Now look at Nigeria. Nigeria have solved the problem they have in religious diversity, because they have the Muslims and the Christians. So there was a trend that Muslims were always becoming presidents, because most of them were in the army. And so when this trend was around, people were complaining. The Christian population, which happens to be half of the population in Nigeria, it's I think around 48, 49, 40% Christian, 45% Muslim, something like that, 50-50 of that adds up to 90, and then the 10% is the animist and traditional African religions. So when that happened, and they realized there were very many Muslims in power, they had to have the rotational presidency, whereby one time it would be the Christian, then the next time it would be the Muslim. It was alternating. Reason. So what does that mean? Nigeria is not a pure democracy. It's not a majority democracy, different democracy. Reason being, the highest office in the land of Nigeria is rotational. It's a deal. It's of course it's a deal put out there by the politicians. Now, that's an example of a diverse democracy. It's an example. And these are the democracies that need to rise up in the world. Look at Barack Obama. He became president coming from a race that is a minority race, the black people. And yet he became president. So it was a very good sign for America at that time, because people were really eager to see, can America really pick somebody, not only his color, but first of all, his 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 intelligence and his ability, irrespective of his color. And it happened. They voted in Barack Obama because not only was it a sympathy vote, which it was not really the main focus, he was brilliant. He was good speaker, and he injected into the American psyche, and basically he did his job. If you look at most of the accomplishments that are still running in America is because of Barack Obama's presidency. So he killed the notion that black people can't do anything. Black people are weak intelligently. That was the belief many people had in America. They knew that, oh, black people don't measure up. And even right now, I've just watched a video that's talking about the affirmative action in Harvard, and I'm really shocked at how it's going. When I was reading through the comments, I was very shocked and saddened that people don't understand the importance of affirmative action. Of course, they are not happy that Asian Americans are not given priority because the black Americans have higher priority to enter Harvard. But people need to understand, why is that race admission on? The guy in the video who explained it very well, that the Supreme Court has still allowed Harvard to have race in admissions, whereby you use race to create diversity in the campus. You can use race as a measure to admit people. So what people need to understand, I think what's happening is, the spirit in America is people don't understand diversity. This is what I'm also seeing around where I am. I talk to people, and I really have to keep on drumming to them about diversity. That's why we do these videos. One of the reasons why we have to keep on doing videos is to keep on pressing the point to people. There's a principle, and the principle is diversity is the principle. But you see, I can just say it like that, and that's the end, and I'll never make another video again. But if I stop at that, people forget, and it's human nature to forget. So the process of helping humans understand a principle is repeating it over and over again. Practice makes perfect, and so does repetition. When you repeat something over and over again, you become perfect into it. So when you repeat a principle, and a scientific principle, not lies, lies, tell people that this race is bad, this race is bad, this race is bad. That's propaganda. Yes, education. And what I mean by education, even education, it's diverse. Sometimes many people, when you tell them education, they think you're talking about class. You see, there are so many things we have to unlearn. I like what Ngugi wa Thiong'o said, decolonize the mind. And for us, we also deprogram the mind. There are some things we were programmed to believe. When you hear the word education, people just think about a blackboard. These days, what I'm doing is educating you. As I've told you again, I've also seen another video today. Barack Obama is giving civic education to voters who are voting in the midterm elections in America. That is how we are voting in the midterm elections in America. That's the education. I mean, of course, he's not calling it education, but for those of us who understand, that education. And how many people have watched the video? Over thousands have watched it. Thousands. More than 10,000 people have watched that video. So what does that mean? It's working. And we are always in school. We're in different schools. YouTube has schools, Facebook has schools, Twitter has schools. Everywhere we are always learning. And the beauty of this education outside school, the school world of the blackboard, is that there's no exam. You just swallow. And what you remember and what you is what you will keep in your mind. So some things you have to read. I love education is diverse. Diversity is the principle. Never forget that. Never. Forget everything. It is intellectual. The moment you know and understand diversity is the principle. So, as I've told you, when I say education, I'm not talking all everybody go back to school. I'm even talking about peer education. I'm even talking about social education. I'm talking about familial education. Educate the family. Yes. Your parents are teachers. Your siblings are teachers. Your aunties, your relatives are teachers. Everybody's a teacher. Everybody is a teacher. Everybody. Somebody who can subject yourself to them. That's why in the ancient world, the teacher was called a master. Yes, he was a master. And what is the opposite of a master? Is a slave. You do what the master tells you. See, Jesus was called a master, and that's a rabbi, and that's a teacher. And he would tell the disciples, what did the disciples tell him? Teach us how to pray. Say, show us. We want to pray. You pray. So we do that. That's what master, the relationship and student or master and disciple was that the master teaches and tells people this is how you do it. And that's education. Was there a blackboard? Nowhere in the Gospels is it written that Jesus was in this classroom teaching people. There was nothing. No classroom. He was just talking, but he was a teacher. Why? He was telling people, giving people principles. So uh, that's what we've been doing, and that's why we continue sharing these videos. So we're very happy that there's LGBT affirmative therapy, and that's where the point came, so that to help LGBT people accept themselves. Like what Tim Cook said, he said LGBT people are special. Those are the words we need to hear from different people. Of course, I know LGBT leaders, they don't want to sound like they are preaching, because people accused us of propaganda, and there's no propaganda. This is just science. As I've told you, you cannot know, if you don't know the science, you can call anything propaganda. But if you understand science, then you will know what is propaganda. So get to know the science first, sexual science. And that's why this video is going to be on. It's just a short video of LGBTQ, the levels of LGBTQ sexology. Why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I've noticed in the community around the world, I am very happy to be. Another thing I'm going to do another video is that do you know there are no borders anymore virtually and very idealistically there are absolutely no borders today. Right now we still have borders, but internet wise it's done. We are one. We are truly one village. So you can know everything about the sexual community, the LGBTQ life in America, and you've never stepped in America. You know everything inside out. You know China inside out. You know Poland inside out. You know Brazil inside out. Because there are very many videos, and go and watch them. You know. So we want to do something what I call, because I've been seeing it, and it's still based on what I was talking about, mainstreaming the LGBTQ community, whereby now the LGBTQ persons are coming out in the open. They are now in the mainstream world gradually. So you find, like as I said in the other video, in the mainstreaming video, CNN, you see in CNN they have presenters who are gay, and there are some who are bisexual, and then other stations they have transgenders. Then you have LGBTQ companies and their organizations, and they have transgenders. I mean, look at Caitlyn Jenner, is a great transgender celebrity. So all of these people are rising, and in this decade from 2010 to 2020, what do you call it? Few LGBT celebrities coming out, or they are gradually coming out. Look at the music world. Sam Smith, And he's not just a musician, he's a great musician. Winning has won Grammys like nothing. And you see, that is what is happening in the world. Now, from 2020 to 2030, there will be more LGBTQ personalities, celebrities. They are coming. Yes, very many. So the number will increase. And what does this mean? There'll be more mainstreaming. Of course, as please remember, when I say that there'll be more, it doesn't mean the number diversity. So if you don't know diversity, you will not understand us. You won't understand LGBTQ persons. We are part of the society, the spectrum of the world. I was born from a man and a woman who had sex with each other. And guess what? They're even new children now. They are children who are born from IVF, no sex. Are they not children? They are children. I always tell Christians that you can't say children are not a blessing. I mean, children born from IVF or other processes other than sex are not a blessing. They are a blessing. Children of our life. They also fall sick in school, so don't discriminate against them. So anyway, I can talk about many things at one time. And so let's focus on sexology. So it's basically the sexual lifestyle of LGBTQ persons. Now there's one level is the highest level, and this is what happens in the whole world. It is the what you call the sex work population, that is LGBTQ. Now, of course, you must understand, if you're in a country that is closeted, and I still owe you I have a debt to do the countries that are out and the closeted countries. So far, there are only 70 closeted countries. There are 70 countries in the world that are in the closet. The rest of the countries, which are more than 100, are out of the closet. So congratulations. The world is more out than closeted. So we know who is winning now. At least we're on the winning side now. We're on the outside. And more countries are going to come out of the closet. So, and by 2050, of course, there's some countries I look at and say, if that country comes out of the closet, it will be a miracle, in countries like Saudi Arabia and some countries in Africa. If they come out of the closet, it will be a miracle. But they should, because there's no harm to coming out. I mean, when you come out of the closet, so you're a human, live on. I mean, about someone who is out of the closet, it is strange. So it's really, for some countries it will take time for them to come out, others will come out. But now I'm talking about all countries that have come out, or the countries that have come out. The highest level is a sex worker. These are people who have sex uh, in the LGBT community for commercial gain or for livelihood. It is not wrong. This has been happening for thousands of years. People do sex for livelihood, for survival, and they earn money from it. You can earn a buck from it. Some countries do not legalize sex work, others do, and I am also in the movement of legalizing sex work. I believe, let a sex worker do their work. Work is a saying in Africa, and so sex work is good. So you should let a sex worker sell their wares, sell themselves, go to the clubs, go wherever they want to, get clients, do whatever they have to do to get a client. If they get money from it, good. There's no problem. So I don't have a problem with that. So that's the first level. Then the second level is pornography. These are people they are very good at having sex, um, but they are porn stars. And when I go through my Twitter, there's a Twitter I have. I find these guys, they show off their bodies, they dance, and they do everything, and then They engage in sex live. They don't fear doing live sex for the world on public show. So that is called pornography. Now remember, there are some countries which are not out. So out they don't allow. Well, they say so, but these people are still watching porn. That's the weird thing in those countries. So the pornography. So these are guys who do sex, but in an artistic way. They are very skillful. They know how to do it and they act it out. Then the third level is what do you call the casual level, casual sex. This one, you're not really a porn star. You're just amateur, and it could be porn, but it is just casual. You know, you just do it because you've seen somebody professional do it, and you want to try it out. And then you try it out, and I've succeeded. Then the fourth level is what you call the normal uh, sex life. And this is where it happens for people who cohabit or are married. So when you're gay married or you're LGBT or mixed orientation marriage, because remember there's mixed orientation marriage whereby you can be a bisexual and you marry a transgender. So when you have that, your sex is based in at home and it's the most private sex. And it also applies to people who are dating each other and people who are friends and even prison. Like in the prison, people are having sex. Yes, homosexual sex is more prevalent in prison than any place simply because men, it's one sex, it's a homosexual. The prisons are homosexual. Even the women prison, it's homosexual because they have women. So the only sex in the prison is women. So what happens is the women involve themselves in lesbianism because you can't put on the light forever to see what they are doing. I mean, are you that anti-sexual and very, very, very bad to people? No, let them have sex even in prison. Sex is a reliever of stress. It's a reliever. It helps. It's a psychological booster because it releases dopamine, which is reward. When you have had sex, you feel like, yes, I've conquered. And there are many things in life you've not conquered, but at least when you have sex, you feel you've conquered. So that is the last level of sex, the normal sex, which is based on either marriage or friendship or cohabitation or in a prison setting whereby you're just there. So you just have sex because you live with each other, cohabiting. Yeah. And that's basically those are the levels. So now to end this video, some of us belong in all levels. Yes. Some of us belong in some levels and some of us belong in one level. So you choose which level you belong to. And as for me, I respect all levels and I don't mind any level. I don't mind anybody who is in all levels, some levels, or in just one level. And that's the life because some people enjoy being in all levels. Others enjoy some levels, like some people, they are sex workers, but they also have a partner at home. And they have even made a deal with the partner and said, you know what, this is how I get food. So please let me go and do my work. And I come back home, I can take care of you. So that's how other people live. They live in two levels. Others, they live with a partner. They are porn stars. And then next thing you know, they also sex workers because they do very good porn. And then they are also casual. Sometimes they have days of casual. So those are very, very busy people. And then another thing you need to know in all of these levels, some people are very sexually active, but it's a very wrong generalization because not all gay people are randy. Like in my life, I was very booky. I loved reading books. I loved I loved doing things for long hours. So it makes what it does to you when it comes to sex. I will do it with all, and once I've reached the level I've reached, no climax, I feel good, and I am not really pushed to. I don't really see myself that I must do a lot or have a lot of sex. That's my nature. And it's because of how I lived my life. Most of my time in my life was sitting down, reading, going through things, thinking. Then when it comes to nighttime and I can get my friend around and say, yeah, let's be together. And we are together. And that's done. But the other people, morning, lunchtime, evening, nighttime, they have been busy having sex. And you wonder, wow, they're so gymnastic, they're so sexually active. Yes, they're there. And but does it mean that they are more? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means they are more sexually active than another person. So sexual activity varies in people, and these are people who have low sexual drive. It doesn't mean they don't feel like they want to have sex. It's just that it's not a priority. It's not a number one priority. But it doesn't mean they are they are not sexual. Some of them are. And I'm not an asexual. By no means I'm not. Because I know asexuality. Asexuality, in fact, I was talking to somebody and I was telling him that I think asexuality sometimes is a phase in life. Sometimes we are asexual. Like when we're in school, it's my view, not to be, though I don't want to put it, it's not a rule. I would, like, as I told you how I lived my life, I was basically reading books and a few moments of leisure, but the main part was reading. So it was because of the phase where I was in. I was in school. Now, when I left school, now I could be more free. I could socialize, and I've been socializing in the LGBT community, and it's very fun. It's nice, yeah, and I'm happy. At least, of course, I still have things to do, and being LGBTQ is it's challenging, especially in a homophobic situation. You really have to be very strong and very tenacious, and but these socializations now have made me more open. I'm not really that booky as I used to be. Reason being, I am having more time to socialize with people. Now, thanks to Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. I mean, you can be like now Facebook is even the number of friends I'm having are too many. And so that means the time I'm spending with them is so much. And so if you have a lot of free time, you will spend time with them socializing. So that's what happens. But when you're in school, in a school setting, it can't happen that way. I mean, spend all the time on Facebook and you have an exam and see what will happen. You will not really do well. So that's there's a time for everything. That's what I'm trying to say. Even there's a time for sex and there's a time for no sex. So, but when you have sex, have your sex. And that's what I just wanted to share and to all LGBTQ persons out there, as we are mainstreaming. By mainstreaming, we are now entering the mainstream world. Some things will have to reduce. Like you now have to learn how to present yourself, how to be, because the reason why straight people do well in politics, like now there's a very important thing happening in America. High number, over 500 LGBTQ candidates are running. So these LGBTQ candidates need to understand that for you to beat a straight person, you have to have a strategy as strong and stronger than theirs, because you're a minority. You are a minority. So when you're a minority, you have to work harder to get it. It's not that, it's because of how the system is shaped. If the system was like what I told you is happening in Nigeria, and that's just for religion, not for sexuality. But if it was that there was a rotational system whereby next term, every time the governor should be from the LGBTQ spectrum. One term is going to be a lesbian, the next term a gay, and next term bisexual, next term transgender. That's a different form of democracy, which is very rare in the world. The world is trying to encourage merit- meritocracy or a merit democracy, whereby if you are good, merited, you fit the bill to be a leader. You fit it, whether you're black or transgender or Hispanic. You see, that's why Obama came to president. It was not because he was black. It's because they had him and people judged this is a guy who can do the job. And didn't it work? It worked. Yes, it worked. So and that's how it happens. So now the other so now what I'm trying to say is even even now what has happened, like now Trump is a president. Okay, judge him. And it's not that everybody is I mean, even Obama had his errors. He was not a god. I mean, he also made mistakes, but he tried. He did well. And so even for Trump, it's not that, but it's there's a fact. Some presidents are better than others. That's a sad reality. Not a sad reality, it's reality. Some presidents are better than others, so understand. So but what I'm trying to say is that elections, voting, is it means power is with the people. It is you who goes to change. When you find the leader that is in power did not really do well for you, whether he's gay or straight, you can vote them out. Now, for the like the elections, as I was trying to say, you are an LGBTQ candidate. You have to have more strategies than that straight person, whereby the straight person is riding on the majority advantage. That majority of the population is straight. So they try and use that advantage. And they get involved in what you call ad hominem politics, which I'm going to talk about one day in the river of thought, lava of Fikir, because that's the politics that made Trump win. It's ad hominem politics. I'll even write a book about it. This is politics whereby you attack the character of a person, you see. And sometimes attacking the character of a person wins support, because if you are with humans who are very judgmental, you know, and this happens to very religious people fall into the trap of being, holier than thou. So holier than thou people like ad hominem politics, whereby you punch. Yeah, he did it. Yeah, he's bad, and this is what happens in America. It's so sad that you can be brilliant, but if you have a sex scandal, it's done. You're gone. Of course, it's the issue of integrity. That's why people want you out when there's a scandal. But there should be a limit. I think the limit is if the error is minor, a small error, like you could remember when Obama didn't do this when he was pledging, and it was like the biggest scandal in America. It wasn't big because it was a minor error. I mean, he would have forgot. Maybe he forgot he was supposed to do that, and so he did. He did it, and voila. I mean, it was a minor error. That's not enough. That's not an error enough to remove a president. But there are some scandals which are enough to remove a president. But you don't really need to push looking for character flaws of a person to win an election. It's how American politics is, and they are very free. They love it that way. But I don't support it because it makes people not focus on the issues. You see, if you have issue based politics, do you know what that means? All the speeches of the politician will 90% will be issues, how to solve issues. That's how we're going to make democracy better. when the speech is laced with issues. You know, that's what's lacking these days. But these days, if you want to know ad hominem politics, it is that guy. He doesn't even handle any issue. I mean, look at what has happened. Then they're just speaking on who he is, his character flaws. They're not even looking at his solutions, what he has given to solve the problems. Because what is politics? Is it about power or it's about building societies to greatness? The Egyptian pyramids were not built by political parties. Did you know that? They were not. So what does that mean? Sometimes you don't need politics to build great societies. So it's maybe that people want to. I know now it's because of the systems we have. The systems we have today were not in Egypt. So, and the systems we have own rules. Every system has its rules. And remember, diversity is the principle. So some systems are all systems are diverse. So the ancient Egyptian system is not the modern Egyptian system of today. That's what we said with Israel. Ancient Israel is not modern Israel because one of the ways is the laws are different completely. If Moses comes to Israel right now, he can collapse. He'll say, "Where is my law?" You know, I gave you people a law and you're not using it. And Netanyahu will tell him, "I'm sorry, things changed." We know more now than them. And the next video we're going to do today is going to be about the issue of time. That there are new things we found out, and therefore they freshen the language and they freshen systems. So diverse systems. So the American political system is not the Brazilian political system. They may have commonalities, but they have differences that make them different and diverse. So as I've told you, the American system is so ad hominem. You know, they just pick on, he's bad, he's so, he's a moron. They always throw these words out there. But when you go to Finland, you will really scratch your head to hear moron in Finnish. Because their politics is not American, it is Finnish. And in Finland, the politics is issue based. At least that's what I can see when I read about Finland. So anyway, guys, that was just. I like how this video has panned out. It started with curtain raising issues, and then we had the main meat, which we've done with it, and then now we've closed with other performances, and we are gone. So see you for the next videos, which we're gonna do about time, language, and we'll also touch on and the LGBTQ website of the week if we can. Yes, thank you.